Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden, and today we're on the side garden and I'm going to be planting my first batch of fall planted bulbs and a bunch of the violas and pansies that I grew from seed. Okay, so we're on the side yard. It is overcast. There's a little bit of drizzle today, but it's still pretty warm out here despite that. And I'm on the side of the house where we have this area of purslane that I grew here on the summer, which was spectacular this summer. It really held up to the heat. It is filled in. I'll go ahead and put a picture up of what it looked like when I first planted it compared to what it is now. Now, when it's overcast or darker outside, all of the flowers close. So most of them are closed right now because, I mean, it feels like real early morning or real late at night. They have to have sun for them to be open. So they're not looking very spectacular right now, but they're absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely something I'll probably repeat in the future because the purslane was just so hardy with the heat. But I am going to go ahead and cut it back at this point in time. The reason being is we're less than a week away from 40-degree temps. I'm wanting to just start getting some stuff into the ground. I am planting like crazy. And the purslane doesn't do super great with the cooler weather. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up and, you know, be happy that I had such great success with it and go ahead and move on to the next step. So let's talk about the bulbs that we're going to be planting there. Now, currently I have several daffodil bulbs in this particular area. I'll put up some pictures of that as well and what it typically looks like in early spring. So I have lots of daffodil bulbs in this particular area. I am wanting to go ahead and add additional succession bulbs beyond those daffodil bulbs. So one of the first ones I'm going to be adding is muscari, and this particular variety is our miniacum, and I got these are Longfield Gardens, but I purchased these from Costco, these bulbs, and it was like 100 bulbs for like 15 bucks or something along those lines. And I planted muscari in the front yard last fall, and I was over the moon with how beautiful it was come spring. And I would love to see a ring of just beautiful dark purple blue tones right here in the front. Now, muscari can be harvested for cut flowers. I did not harvest mine for cut flowers. They have a much shorter stem. They tend to be maybe about 6 to 8 inches tall. This particular variety blooms in mid-spring, which is great. My daffodils bloom early spring. These bloom mid-spring. And then typically we plant these about 3 inches deep. These are hardy in my area and they do come back year after year. So what we'll do is the first layer we'll be adding in is the muscari. Secondly, I'm going to be adding in a new to me bulb, which is called leucojum. And this particular variety is Gravetie Giant. And this almost looks like a snowdrop. It kind of is like a flower that like falls over the side. And this is from Longfield Gardens, and I did buy these from Costco as well. And these are about 22 inches tall, and they bloom in late spring. So what I'll have in this particular area is I'll have my daffodils for early spring, I'll have my muscari for mid-spring, and I'll have these leucojum for late spring. So the idea is that one bloom will overtake the next throughout the entire spring season, which I'm really excited about. Now, these are planted about 6 inches deep. They are hardy in my area. I'll go ahead and put down what zones both of these are hardy in. So the best time to plant fall planted blooms in my area is from October to December. And you will see me continue to plant all the way through to the end of December. Specifically, my tulips will be the last things that I will be planting. I'm not going to be planting them in the ground this year. I am going to be planting them in crates, which will be a really fun method. But this will be the first set that I get, and it is almost the end of October. And you'll see me get a whole lot done in the fall. And it is really starting to rain right now. We might have to take a break and come back out later. Okay, we're just going to work through the sprinkles. My goal coming in here is I really don't want to rip out the entire, oh yeah, I'm not going to have a choice. Okay. The entire plant is coming out. I was just going to cut it, but they're so tangled. Let's go ahead and pull these out. Look at this is one plant. Isn't that glorious? They were wonderful, y'all. I cannot wait to do these again next year. I hope I remember. I think I'll have just enough time to get these out, and then I'm going to have to go inside from the rain. My glasses are covered in rain. Okay, so got that done. And the first thing I'm going to do is I really should pull all this grass. Okay, I'm going to start with a bag of compost across this area. This is Living Earth compost. Living Earth is a local company. You can get this compost from Lowe's. And I'm going to concentrate the bulbs towards the inside of these coneflowers that you see. And the reason being is come spring, the spireas on either side of this area will be in full bloom. And they'll be covering up any kind of flowers if I put them over there. So it's best just to concentrate my bulbs in this particular area. Of course, the rain's slowing down, and now it's getting super humid. Of course. Okay, I'm going to start with the leucojum. And the reason I'm going to start with it is because it is planted 6 inches deep. And I don't want to plant the shorter muscari bulbs only to have to dig through them to plant these. Oh, these are nice sized bulbs. Let me give you a close up of these. These are nice big bulbs. I would think they were daffodil bulbs if they weren't labeled. Okay, and I've got 15 of them. So what I'm going to do is just kind of spread them out periodically across the space. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my hori-hori knife. These are about 6 inches deep. Pull back the earth, put the root side down, and put them under. Just like that. Easy peasy. Okay, and next we have the muscari. Let me show you these bulbs. Oh, hello, little frog. Go somewhere else. Go there. You blend in perfectly. Okay, and remember I have 100 of these. These are very tedious to plant, in my opinion. But because they're so small, it's not hard. Just tedious. And to get a natural kind of effect with these, I'm kind of just going to sprinkle them out. I'm not going to hand place them. So in some areas, I'll put 2 together. But I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them out like that. And these go about 3 inches deep, so they're super easy to tuck in. It's raining a lot, so we're going to take a little break. Okay, so it's the next day. It ended up raining most of the day, drizzling, raining most of the day, which is wonderful, but threw my plans off a little bit. So what I've got here is the violas and pansies that I grew from seed this year. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience growing them. I wouldn't say it was easy. I feel like they take forever. The violas and pansies take forever to get going. It took up a lot of space for a lot of time. Once everything did start going and they were looking really, really good, I started moving them outside and they immediately got spider mites, immediately. And so I ended up losing a lot of them to spider mites. I don't feel like the plants are like super robust and happy, but I'm wondering if that's maybe because they are in the containers and they need to go into the ground. Okay, so let's take a close-up look on these. You can see I had a lot of this. Leaves get kind of damaged from the spider mites like this, and I treated them all with like a soap solution, and you can see like here's the new growth, and then you can see all the spider mite issues that are down. So the new growth is in good shape. I've got the spider mites under control. Some of them are starting to bloom, which is cool, but I really feel like getting them into the ground is going to make the difference. So let's go ahead and start getting those added. I'm not going to be adding fertilizer since I did just top all of this with compost. Okay, I'm mostly done, but I wanted to take just a second to show you how I plant bedding plants on top of bulbs without trying to disturb them too much. I do not dig in and lift up. Basically, I go in with something like my hori knife, and I kind of make a spot, and then I come in here with my fingers and I just pull to the side for the earth instead of digging upwards. And that keeps the bulbs down into the soil. And I've done almost all of these now, and I've only run into one bulb that came upwards. So I just push down with my hori knife, and I kind of give it a little tug, and then I put my hands down and kind of draw the soil aside like that. Super simple approach. This soil that I planted these violas and pansies in is really soft. I can even just dig down with my hand and just gently pull aside. But that's how I go about doing that without like majorly disturbing the bulbs underneath. And so remember, you're just trying to move the soil aside as opposed to trying to dig upwards with the soil. Okay, all taken care of. Do have a lot of loose soil around here, but it's to be expected with all the rain that we just got. Looks great already. We don't even have flowers. Those will stay green. But yeah, feeling really good, especially knowing that I will have beautiful surprise blooms come spring. Okay, I'm glad to have that project done. I do want to talk a little bit about dealing with pansies and violas when we have really deep freezes. Now, standard freezes, they're just going to be fine. It's sometimes in my area, oddly enough, the last 2 years, we've had a once in 100 years freeze. 2 years in a row. And when that kind of happens, I base it basically on how long my violas and pansies have been in the ground. If they've been in the ground for multiple months, I don't really stress about covering them because that means their roots are really good to go underneath the soil and they'll put off all new growth. So it doesn't really stress me out. If there's a ton of blooms and I want to preserve the blooms, I will come and cover them with frost cloth And I really don't cover it unless it's going to get below like 25, 26 degrees. And only if it's going to be freezing like at that temperature for an extended amount of time. Such as in the past couple of years, we've had, below even to the low 20s into the teens for an extended amount of time. And therefore, I will come and cover almost everything in my garden as much as I possibly can with at least frost cloth. Now, frost cloth doesn't make as much of a difference as you might think. It only is really going to make the difference of a few degrees, but sometimes that few degrees is all you need to make sure that your plants survive. You can double and triple up on your frost cloth, whatever works best for you. I prefer frost cloth that allows a little bit of sunshine to go through. I think that's more helpful for keeping the plants healthier and not frozen if possible. But yeah, so for my pansies and violas, I usually won't stress about it on any kind of typical regular freeze. It's only when it gets really much lower and it's going to be for an extended amount of time that I will come out and put some frost cloth on them. So I did want to let y'all know that and my philosophy regarding that. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, watching me get my first set of fall bulbs planted. I've got several other projects coming up that are fall planted bulbs, specifically tons and tons of daffodils. Really excited about that coming up. Oh, I got ants on me. And then I still have several things to get planted out into the fall garden before we start getting into cooler temperatures. Now, my videos for the next week are going to be a little bit off because my daughter is in the marching band and her marching band made the state competition, which is very exciting. So I'm going to be heading to San Antonio with my daughter and my husband to watch them perform and, of course, celebrate this major accomplishment. If you have ever been in marching band or you have a child or grandchild in marching band, you know what a huge deal marching band is, especially in the state of Texas. It's a really big deal. And so I'm really excited. So my videos, and there might be several days in between videos just because I'm going to be off celebrating her. All right, you all, as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know my latest videos are up. And be sure to check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's Mad Gardener or Decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.